Christmas at Sea by Robert Louis Stevenson, 1888. Do you ever want to just get away from home? You ever get tired of your parents or tired of your daily activities and jobs that you have to do chores? Well, I'm pretty sure that's how my guy Kevin felt in all of the Home Alone movies. But as he leaves home, he realizes how much he misses his parents, and now he wants to return. Uh, Similarly, Robert Stevenson in Christmas at Sea feels the same way as he leaves out to sea in the military during Christmas time, and he misses his parents. Robert Stevenson was a sick kid. He always was sick, and how he would pass the time by is that he would write in bed. So many of his books, novels, and poems were written while he was sick in bed. His father was a lighthouse builder, which could add to why he chose to use lighthouses in this poem. Finally, Robert Stevenson loved to travel. He even was quoted to say, "For my part, I travel not to go anywhere, but to go. I travel for travel's sake. The great affair is to move." Robert Stevenson. Now, while he was always sick in bed, it did not hold him back from traveling. And as we see in this poem, it's all about traveling, seeing the world, but also the flip side of that, the consequences of traveling. And we see Robert reflect in this poem. The sheets were frozen hard, and they cut the naked hand. The decks were like a slide where the seamen scarce could stand. The wind was nor'wester, blowing squally off the sea, and cliffs and spouting breakers were the only thing alee. They heard the surf a-roaring before the break of day, but 'twas only with a peep of light they saw how ill we lay. We tumbled every hand on deck instanter with a shout, and we gave her the main topsail, and stood by to go about. All day we tacked and tacked between Southhead and the north. All day we hauled the frozen sheets, and got no further forth. All day as cold as charity, in bitter pain and dread, for very life and nature we tacked from head to head. We gave the south a wider berth, for there a tide race roared, but every tack we made we brought a north head close aboard. So we saw the cliffs and houses, where the breakers running high, and the coastguard in his garden, with his glass against his eye. The frost was on the village roofs as white as ocean foam. The good red fires were burning bright in every longshore home. The windows sparkled clear, and the chimneys valleyed out, and I vow we sniffed the victuals as the vessel went about. The bells upon the church were rung with a mighty jovial cheer, for it's just that I should tell you how, of all days in the year, this day was this day of our adversity was blessed Christmas morn, and every house above the house above the coast guards was the house where I was born. Oh, I saw the pleasant room, the pleasant faces there, my mother's silver spectacles, my father's silver hair, and well I saw the firelight, the like a flight of homey elves, go dancing round the china plates that stand upon the shelves. And well I knew the talk they had, the talk that was of me, of the shadow on the household and the son that went to sea. And oh, the wicked fool I seemed in every kind of way, to be here hauling frozen ropes on blessed Christmas Day. They lit the high sea light, and the dark began to fall. By the Lord, she'll never stand it, our first mate Jackson cried. It's one way or the other, Mr. Jackson, he replied. She staggered in her bearings, but the sails were new and good, and the ship smelt up to windward, just as though she understood. As the winter's day was ending, in the entry of the night, we cleared the weary headland and passed below the light, and they heaved a mighty breath, every soul on board but me, as they saw her nose again pointing handsome out to sea. But all that I could think of, in the darkness and the cold, was just that I was leaving home and my folks were growing old.